Hello traders, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to discuss FILREIT and dissect each part whether you are an investor or a trader to determine if it is worth your money to invest with or is there any attractive opportunity for a trader to participate in. As you all know, the primary tenant of a REIT are the BPO industry, whereas with DDMPR, their primary tenant are the POGO industry. And as evidently, you can see the stock of DDMPR plummeting because primarily one, because of the market sentiment, and two, the government imposed heavy restriction against them. But recently, President Duterte is encouraging online gambling businesses because the government needs funding. Now, FILREIT is somewhat similar with REIT because they have similar tenants which are the BPO industry as their primary tenant. So without much further ado, let's discuss FILREIT and how this stock could help you and your investment should you buy this stock in their listing date or should you avoid or should you not buy this stock on the listing date. As you can see, FILREIT has already been approved by the PSE for their IPO of 14.92 billion. And there will be upcoming REITs on the next few months or years, maybe. One of them are RLC REIT. Then next thing is Mega World REIT or M REIT. Then the third is the SMPH REIT, which they are planning to raise about 50 billion. And I'm not sure if this will be the largest REIT IPO, but let's see in the future where should this REIT takes us to. And with the FILREIT, we can see that the offer price is 7 pesos per share and with the market capitalization of 34.2 billion and with estimated public float of 33.4%. And the start and end of offer period will start on July 23 and ends with August 3, 2021. And the tentative listing date will be on August 12, 2021. I have already put here the link of the disclosure and other relevant information has already pasted here. You can pause the video if you want to read this and to learn more about this. So, what are the property included with REIT? There are 16 buildings located in Alabang. One building is located in Cebu, Cyber Zone in Lahug, Cebu City. So, somewhat similar with REIT, diba? So, yung REIT, they have one property on Cebu, I think Teleperformance building, something like that. And with this FILREIT, they have one building also in Lahug City. So, as you can see that most of the company properties are now located in Northgate Cyber Zone, which is located in Alabang, Muntinlupa City. So, right now, they have an occupancy rate of 91.5 as of March 30, 2021. So, I'll later discuss about this one when we proceed on the reading of the prospectus. So, now they want to use the proceeds on malls, warehouse, offices, and land acquisition, which is vague for me, no? And because we want clear or we want the use of proceeds to have some clarity. And kung papansinin natin with REIT, with their usage of the proceed, medyo clear sila kung saan nila gagamitin yung proceed. Although we can be confidently about the usage of proceed because one factor or one key factor on the law na sinabi that the company cannot use the proceed on any other engagement or hindi pwedeng ilabas yung pera. So, we can be confidently na yung proceeds na yun ay gagamitin mismo sa company itself, no? So, next thing. With FILREIT, DDMPR, and REIT, we can see that FILREIT is somewhat cheaper compared with REIT on their listing date, but the but is more expensive compared with DDMPR. REIT and FILREIT medyo nagkaroon sila ng discount, no? Based on their initial offer price. As far as I know, with REIT, they intended to sell their shares at around 33 pesos per share before. And with FILREIT, they are intended to sell their shares at around 8.3 pesos per share. And they lowered it around by 16%. So, primarily, one, baka lack of demand. And two, maybe they're trying to entice more investors to participate in. So either way, I do not see any attractive parang valuation in terms of that for being a trader because of demand. And next thing, offer shares, 1.63 billion shares offered for FILREIT, and which is smaller than DDMPR but greater than with REIT. So the market capitalization of FILREIT is 34.2 billion, then its outstanding shares would be 4.89 billion. Then public float, 33.4%, which is somewhat similar with the DMPR. Now, the opening price of FILREIT, as you can observe with DDMPR and AREIT, yung opening price nila, bumagsak sila because REIT are heavy to lift by the public investor. So, medyo mabigat siya based on the market capitalization. Kaya sa mga umaasa magkakaroon ng ceiling play, medyo mababa ang chance, less than 1% kung titingnan mo ng maigi. And even with DDMPR, there are a lot of noise outside. They are telling you that it will go ceiling, it will go up like 20-30% because of in-job magic. Pero we look at it on based on numbers and based on facts. So with that respect, I think less than 1% chance magsisiling itong FILREIT. So do not expect any ceiling play. And majority of the time with DDMPR and AREIT, they go down after the opening debut or opening price, no? So this data was gathered last July 24, 2021, so kahapon lang. So this is my personal take about FILREIT. For a trader perspective, I do not see any attractive reason for us to participate in dahil mabigat itong REIT na ito. And with negative market sentiment plus the listing date would be in the ghost month. For investor perspective, I would suggest that you do your own due diligence and do not buy this stock based on what you are hearing here or based on what had been discussed here. And it is more important that you have a strong conviction over your investment. And on the technical standpoint, you should wait until the stock establish a strong support before buying the stock should you decide to invest with FILREIT. And for those dividend folks out there, dividend do not entice me. I am much more on capital appreciation first. Secondary na lang itong mga dividends, SRO, warrants, and etc. If you will be receiving a 5,000 cash dividend but losing money by 10,000 pesos on capital appreciation, at the end of the day, talo ka pa rin. With COVID-19 versus occupancy rate, as you all know that BPO industry and majority of the companies are now adopting the work from home schemes, which will be directly proportionally impact the amount of office spaces that they would be needing. So you have to consider that one, of course. And pangalawa, what if the BPO industry gets hit, no? So the whole industry, for example, if the whole industry gets hit, sino yung magiging tenant ni FILREIT and at the same time ni AREIT as well? So as you all know, na mention ka na rin, I think last 2018 or 2019, that 5 years from now, so the BPO industry are trying to perform the automation initiative that I think they could save at least 80% from human capital based on their automation initiative. So kapag nangyari yon at they do not need human capital or human resource, they would not also be needing much more office space. So next, we are going to discuss the company's prospectus so that we can get an insight of the highlights of the document. So as you can see, this is the company's prospectus. It is around like 1,000 pages. So kung may time kang basahin to, medyo aralin mo lang konti. I don't think you can read all of this, pero basahin mo lang yung mga important documents. So you could have an idea kung paano ba natin ginagawa to so that in the near future, if you can see similar prospectus, you can now decide on your own and you can now understand what we are discussing about here. So, meron dito 3 pages comprising about their 17 buildings. So, ang tinitingnan natin dito is the occupancy rate as of March 31, 2021. And with Axis Tower 1, they have 89.6%, then another 100%, and another 100%, then 66.5%. 92%, 100%, 68.3%. Then if you want to get the average occupancy rate, ito total mo lang lahat-lahat ng mga property na to, yung occupancy rate, then divided by 17 buildings. So you could get 91.5% as the average occupancy rate. So next thing, we will discuss some important matter rin na makikita natin dito sa prospectus nila. For example, itong ano yung mga office tenants nila or information. So Capital One is a great BPO industry. Then ito si Concentrix, alam naman natin, kilala naman yan. And Accenture, di ba? Kasama yan sa Forbes 500 company, global company. So malaking company din yan. So as you can see, ito yung mga occupied gross leasable area nila. Itong si Capital One, 38,000 square meter. Then another, for example, itong si Callcentrix, around 20,000. Then similar with Accenture, around 18,600, no? So yan yung mga tenants nila na makikita ninyo na medyo sikat or kilalang mga company, and they have been parang sabihin natin, they have the capacity to pay, no? Pero of course there would be the risk na itong buong entire BPO industry, if that gets hit, patay din si FILINVEST, no? So yan yung dapat isa sa alang-alang mo. Then we already discussed na if those company, lalo na itong mga malalaking BPO industry, they want to automate their system, no? So they would needing more human capital or human resources, then it will be directly impacted on the sizes of the office spaces that they would be needing. So kunwari 80% from the resources will be out of the game kasi nga automated na yung system nila. So, they would not needing much bigger spaces compared as before. So, isa din yon. And of course, yung nabanggit ko nga na work from home scheme, di ba? Pwedeng rotational. Ano ba? MWF, itong mga employee lang to ang papasok. Then, TTHS, itong mga employee ang mga pwedeng pumasok. Mga ganon, di ba? So, more likely, they will be needing more less space, di ba? Compared than before. Then, nabanggit ko nga din sa inyo na mas makakatipid yung mga company na yun kasi less space, less expenses. Then, of course, yung mga internet and sabihin natin mga operational expense, syempre, mas liliit yon. Okay, so next thing we will discuss, I think, itong itong next pages here, ayan, yung nila, yung this expiry profile as of March 31, 2021. So, as you can see that 39.3% na mag-expire yung mga lease na yan is around 2025 ba yan. So, if you are planning to invest with FILREIT, you have the projection na hindi yan by next year, wala na yung mga tenant na yun. Hindi. Kasi majority naman or around 40%, 2025 pa yung expiration ng mga contracts nila. Pero then again, that is one thing, no? Pero kung sabihin natin, titingnan din natin yung capacity to pay ng mga tenant. Kasi kahit naman na may mga ganyang contract, kung wala namang pambayad yung mga tenant, and if you will file lawsuit, no, idedemanda mo, syempre, you will not make money also. So, paano ka mabubuhay kung wala kang income? So, you will also think of their tenants as well. So, titingnan mo, malalaking company ba yan? Sila Accenture, malalaking company yan. So, they have the capacity to pay naman. So, as you can see, starting from like 2022, around 11.2%, then 2023, 18.1%, then 2024, 20.8%. So, of course, there would be a risk, no? Kasi, halimbawa, paano kapag may mas magandang place or leasable area na pwedeng malipatan? So, that is one thing. And kagaya ng mga nabanggit ko kanina, kapag nagkaroon ng automation initiative, that is another thing. Then, work from home scheme, that is another thing. And what if the BPO industry gets hit? Another one thing. Kasi majority ng tenants nila are the BPO industry. So that will cause us to become a little bit more cautious and find another alternative REIT that can give us an attractive return. But speaking of returns, the dividend yield of FILREIT is around more than 5%. Nakita ko lang. So, next thing, we will look about the net income of this FILREIT so that we can see if they are making money or hindi ba, or kung nalulugi ba, or okay lang, no? So, as you can see, the net income starting from like 2017 up until like 2020 is somewhat like stagnant. Pero, banda rito sa 2020, tumataas naman siya from 2019 to 2020 despite on the heights of COVID pandemic, tumaas naman siya, no? So, next thing, makikita natin itong dalawang taon na kinompare ng from 2020 to 2021, tumaas din, no? From 506 million, naging 639 million. So that's it for now. I hope you have learned something in our discussion, and if you have some question, you can comment it down below para masagot natin through chat or through next video kung talagang interested kayo with FILREIT. So good night and God bless us all.